What I love about you is you're so authentic and you're very transparent, which I said in the intro for you. Why is that so important for you to have that transparency, you know, to let people know about your beginnings? You know, life has been a roller coaster. It's had its ups and downs. And especially from you coming from a devout home, that was something that you wanted to share.
You know, Karen, for me, it's kind of twofold. The more that my platform continues to grow, people don't always know that about me.
Yeah.
And sometimes you end up coming into someone's story in the middle and you think it's easy and you think that it's always looked the way that you see it looking right now. And so it's important to me that I'm constantly showing people the fullness of the journey so that they understand that you may be where I was, but this is where I am now. And I feel like that transparency helps another woman to not feel alone. When I first shared that I got pregnant at 13, there were like 60 and 70-year-old women coming up to me saying, like tears in their eyes, when you told your story, you freed me from the shame of my past. And as beautiful as that was, I just didn't feel like we should have to wait 50 years to feel free from something that happened when we were a kid. And then I will say just the second part of why I share is I think it's good for me too. Sometimes you can fall into the trap of falling into this image and portraying only this image of you having it all together. And I think it's good for me to remember how far I've come and how much I've grown so that I don't think that it's always been this way for me either. I think it helps to keep me in touch with my growth.
Super dope. And I like in the book how you talk about not focusing on your past and more so focusing on, you know, the present and the future and evolving. Like I kind of like got like, if you're looking backwards, you can't move forward. And I love that. Like in the book, what is your favorite takeaway that you want women to get?
I hope that women walk away from this book feeling like the revolution is closer than it appears. And it's not as hard as I think it is. We think that changing our lives takes so much work, so much strength, so much faith that we literally don't have because we're just trying to survive. And yet I really feel like it's just a redirection of our intention. And when we redirect our intention and our strength and our focus, it's step by step, but it does happen. You look up and your life has been changed and transformed.
So there's so much. We were talking about this on the last episode. There's so much like happening right now, like in society. And I don't want you to speak on everything, but I just kind of want to get your POV. So really this whole pandemic, I feel like has heightened, I call them like false prophets or people who have platforms. They don't have a degree. They didn't go to school. They're not counselors, but they have large platforms from what they push out. And recently it was like Derek Jackson, right? With him and his situation, he talked about so many other people who had infidelities. Then his came out and then people were speaking on his wife. And the reason I bring that up is a lot of things now in society kind of tie back to the church, where it's just like, I feel like sometimes it gets blamed for stuff or people don't know how to like, I can be godly or like Christian or faith-based, but I'm still operating in this world, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, okay. I was actually just talking about this with my sister. To your point, a lot of people can become popular these days. And I just think that sometimes we focus so much on a platform and popularity that we don't consider their responsibility connected with it. Mm-hmm. I think that we're in a generation right now where you cannot be just someone who says, do what I say. You have to show your life as a model that if you do what I say, this is what can happen. You know, at the end of the day, if he's, you know, calling people out on infidelity, then that's got to be a part of his own story. Like when I was out here doing this is what I learned. But to separate yourself from it, I think is why a lot of people took issue with it. And so I do think authenticity is a requirement for ministry. I think that even as we see so many people moving away from faith, it's because of the hypocrisy that they experience. And yet so many of us are afraid to be vulnerable because of judgment. But one of the things I really wanted to be intentional about when sharing my stories is like, I just wanted to keep it real. Like I talk about all types of things on my podcast and in my book, because like, I just don't ever want to, if there's a video that someone posts of me smoking something in college or of me cussing somebody out, like I just never want you to be surprised that that was in me, because I've tried to be 100 about my growth and my journey. And so I think if you're connected to who I am, then there are a lot of things that would not take you by surprise, because I've tried to keep it 100 in that way. And I just, especially for what we do, we don't have a product. Our product is our life. Our product is our words. And I can't just sell you on this life that I'm not living, or you end up in situations that can be very, challenging to your image and reputation because you allowed someone to believe something that wasn't true about yourself.